What if the ticking of the clock was never real at all? What if the reason time feels strange lately is because you're starting to wake up? If you've been feeling like time is speeding up, or slowing down, or sometimes disappearing completely, you're not alone. Many people on the path of spiritual awakening report the same thing. Hours vanish, minutes stretch, moments feel eternal, or completely unreal. But this isn't just a mental glitch. This is a sign, a ripple in your reality, a shift in perception that marks something much deeper happening within you. In this video, we'll explore why time begins to distort as your consciousness expands. We'll dive into ancient wisdom, quantum paradoxes, and personal truths that will help you understand. You're not going crazy. You're just starting to remember. Let's start here. Time is not what you were taught. We grow up learning to divide life into hours, days, years, as if it were linear, logical, predictable. But deep down, haven't you always felt it was something else? Think about this. Have you ever been so absorbed in a moment, a sunset, a conversation, a meditation, that you completely lost track of time? That wasn't just focus. That was a shift in frequency. When you begin to awaken spiritually, your awareness starts detaching from the material plane. And with that detachment comes a change in your relationship to time. Because time, in truth, is not passing. It is layered. It's not a train track. It's a spiral, an ocean, a field you can move through, forward, backward, and beyond. As your vibration rises, you stop operating purely from the ego mind, which is bound by clocks and calendars. You begin to live more from the soul, and the soul knows only presence. That's why you might find yourself saying, "How is it already 5 p.m.? That dream felt like hours, but it was just 10 minutes. I swear this déjà vu happened before, exactly like this." Because it did. You're starting to tap into what mystics have always known. Time is not fixed. It is felt. Have you noticed that since your awakening, memories feel closer than they should? Like something that happened 10 years ago suddenly floods you with emotion, as if it was yesterday? Or a future vision, a dream, a thought, a knowing, feels more real than what's happening now. This is what happens when your spiritual perception starts untangling time. Linear time, past, present, future, exists primarily in the third dimension. But as you awaken, your awareness stretches into the fourth and fifth dimensions, where time becomes fluid. Let me explain. Imagine time not as a line, but as a sphere. And in that sphere, every moment that has ever existed, and ever will exist, is happening now. Mystics called it the eternal now. Quantum physicists call it the block universe. Your soul? It just calls it home. Because your soul has always known, time is a construct of perception, not a constant of reality. And when your perception begins to expand, so does your access to other moments. This is why time slows down during trauma or speeds up during joy. It's not because the clock is broken. It's because your consciousness is shifting focus. Have you ever had this strange feeling that you're running out of time, but also that time doesn't matter at all? This paradox often shows up during spiritual awakening. It's the ego and the soul speaking at the same time. The ego fears, "There's not enough time. I'm behind. I have to rush." The soul whispers, "There is no rush. You are exactly where you need to be." And when those voices overlap, time starts to feel strange. Not wrong, just unfamiliar. Because you're no longer living by the artificial rhythms of society, but by the rhythms of your spirit. You might find yourself waking up at 3:33 a.m. night after night. You might feel bursts of energy at odd hours, or suddenly feel like days are bleeding into each other, as if you're outside the grid of Monday to Sunday. And you are. Because spiritual awakening doesn't follow a calendar, it follows a calling. In the ancient Vedic texts, time is described not as a line, but as cycles, yugas, a great wheel turning endlessly where the past and future are never lost, just recycled. The same is echoed in indigenous teachings where time is seen as circular. Every step you take now echoes backward and forward through the spiral of existence. That's why during awakening, the veil between past lives and your current self can start to thin. Memories that aren't yours may surface. Feelings you can't explain. Longings for places you've never been. You're not crazy. You're not confused. You're just remembering in all directions. Because time is listening. And you, finally, are learning how to speak its language. Let's talk about something you've likely experienced. Déjà vu. That eerie sensation that you've lived this moment before, that you've said these words, stood in this place, with this exact feeling. Is it just a brain glitch, a misfiring neuron? Or is it a glitch in the simulation? Many awakened souls begin to experience more frequent déjà vu, and it's not random. It's a sign that your consciousness is touching multiple timelines at once. You're not reliving a memory. You're sensing a parallel self, a version of you who already made a choice, or is about to. This is timeline bleed-through, where the boundaries between then and now and what could be begin to dissolve. You may also notice time loops, the same lesson presenting itself again and again, the same type of person entering your life under a new face, the same emotional pattern repeating in different circumstances. This too is time teaching you, not punishing, guiding, because time, when seen spiritually, is not your enemy. It is your mirror, and every moment that repeats is an invitation, not to suffer, but to wake up. As your spiritual senses sharpen, you begin to feel time is not moving you forward. You are moving through time. And depending on your emotional frequency, your relationship to time changes. In lower states, fear, anxiety, grief, time feels dense, heavy, slow. A minute drags like an hour. But in higher states, love, flow, presence, time disappears. You lose track because you're no longer bound by the linear mind. Have you ever noticed how time stops during moments of awe? When you're watching waves crash against the shore, or hearing music that moves your soul, or staring into the eyes of someone you love. In those moments, time is not passing. You are suspended in presence. This is not imagination. This is alignment. It's in those spaces where time breaks that you are most connected to who you truly are, a being not of hours and days, but of infinite awareness. And yet here's the paradox. While you feel timeless, you may also feel like everything is happening too fast. This is another symptom of awakening, because as your vibration rises, your manifestations begin to speed up. Thoughts become reality quicker, lessons appear faster, the space between intention and outcome begins to collapse. This is why time feels unstable. You are creating faster than you ever have before, and with that power comes a choice. Will you anchor into fear or into faith? Will you resist the flow of time or trust that it is unfolding for you, not against you? Because the more you trust, the more you'll notice that even time itself starts to listen. If you've made it this far, chances are you've felt it. The surreal, beautiful, disorienting experience of time breaking open. It can be overwhelming. You might feel ungrounded, detached from routines, deadlines, even identity. You may ask yourself, am I falling behind, or am I just waking up? Let me tell you this. If time feels strange right now, it means you're growing. Because the more conscious you become, the less life becomes about minutes and milestones, and the more it becomes about alignment. Not, what time is it? But, is this the right moment for my soul? You are learning to live in kairos, not chronos. In Greek, chronos is linear time, the ticking clock. But kairos is divine timing, the perfect, sacred now. And when you live from your soul, you begin to trust kairos more than your schedule. You begin to sense when to speak and when silence is power, when to act and when to wait, when to leap and when to let go. This is spiritual maturity. You're not running out of time. You're stepping out of time. But what can you do when the world still demands hours and deadlines? When everyone else is rushing, but your spirit craves slowness? Here are 2 simple spiritual practices to help you stay grounded in timeless presence. 1. The breath anchor. Every time you feel time slipping away, racing ahead or dragging you down, pause and breathe. Inhale slowly through your nose. Hold. Exhale even slower. Feel your breath as a bridge between the mind and the now, between the ticking clock and the eternal silence underneath. Do this 3 times and notice how time begins to soften. You are back, in presence, in power. 2. The time mirror journal. Before bed, ask yourself, where did time feel strange today? What was I doing when time disappeared and or stretched? What does that tell me about where my energy truly belongs? By reflecting on how time behaves around you, you begin to decode your soul's preferences, because time bends where energy flows. And when your energy is aligned, time becomes effortless. Remember this, you are not crazy for feeling disconnected from the normal sense of time. You are not lazy. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are awakening. And this feeling, this disorientation is not a failure. It is a sign of expansion. You're stepping out of the small box of linear life and into the infinite rhythm of your true nature. The past is not chasing you. The future is not pressuring you. You are free. So if you've been wondering, why does time feel so strange lately? Why can't I live like I used to? Why does everything feel different now? It's because you're not the same anymore. You've shifted. Your perception has expanded. Your inner compass is no longer calibrated to the ticking of the clock, but to the heartbeat of the universe. And yes, that can feel disorienting. But also, it's sacred, because this distortion of time is not a glitch. It's a gift. It's a message from your soul saying, you're not here to survive by the hour. You're here to awaken through the eternal. So the next time time feels like it's melting, speeding, skipping, stalling, pause, smile, and remember, you're touching something beyond the physical. You're stretching into your multidimensional self. You're remembering what you truly are, a timeless being, experiencing a temporary dream. And in that dream, you get to co-create, to feel, to love, to awaken. So give yourself grace. Give yourself permission to slow down or speed up, to live by your rhythm, to honor the strange, beautiful tempo of your becoming. Because maybe, just maybe, time feels strange during awakening because the real you was never meant to be bound by it in the first place. You were meant to flow, to listen, to remember. And now, you are. If this message stirred something inside you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone else who feels like they're drifting between timelines, who needs to hear that they're not alone in this shift. Like, subscribe, speak your truth in the comments. Let's create a space for awakened time travelers like you, a soul tribe moving together, not by clocks, but by consciousness. Until next time, may your moments be sacred, your path guided, and your heart free. You are right on time.